Welcome to Jones and for Sports, where we make sports better.
What is good, y'all? It is your boy Jones and Luke. Welcome to another episode of Locker Room Sunday. I know, I don't sound very happy, but that's because it's going to be a very long off season for me. Because
no, it's not.
12.
I'm going to explain at the end of the episode why it's not going to be a long off season for you.
It's going to be a long off season. This is why it's going to be a long off season, because I have to deal with the thought that Tom Brady has won 7 fucking rings. Well, that's why it's going to be a long season.
Right. That's inherently annoying. We know that. This is
very annoying. And then, like I said, I've said it plenty of times. I'll say it again. I am a Brady hater.
Yeah.
I stamp that.
Yeah.
I claim that. I don't try to act like people that, oh, no, I'm not hating. I'm just saying that, no, I'm a Brady hater. But I also am honest when I talk about Brady, and I respect Brady's game because he is the GOAT. I've always added the GOAT to his name. I just hate him.
Yeah.
I hate him. And I hate him because he wins all the time. And the other reason is because the 2 times that I did go for him to win the fucking Super Bowl, he lost them. Because if there's only one team or thing or people or place or whatever that I hate more than Tom Brady, it's the fucking Giants. And you lost to them twice.
Yeah.
So that hurt. So that's where the hate comes from. But obviously we're here to talk about the Super Bowl, and me and Luke picked Tom Brady and the Bucs to win. Obviously, I was going with the Chiefs because that was my pick from jump.
Yeah. And
I wasn't surprised that the Bucs won, but I'm surprised on how they won. And I have a lot to say about this, mainly on the Chiefs side. Yeah. So I'm going to let you go first and tell me what you thought about the game.
Well, I made a little check of shit to shine a light on. Because there was a lot of things, like for example, me picking like Cameron Brate to win MVP, not really, like, could I have seen it? Sure. Am I surprised that he had like only 2 catches? No.
Right.
So that's neither here nor there. Having actually watched the game, a couple things stood out. One, we had mentioned, all 3 of us, that the Chiefs' O-line was going to be a massive fucking problem.
Yes.
And that was on full display. What was I think Mahomes, they said, had to run about 500 extra yards just to evade sacks.
Yep.
That's insane. That's a Super Bowl record, if I'm not mistaken.
It is. Yeah.
Number 2.
Rushes or something.
Yeah, right. Number 2, Tyrann Mathieu. I get it. You're the emotional leader of that Chiefs defense. There is a time and place to fuck with Tom Brady. It is not in the Super Bowl when you're down by at least 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
Number 3, the Chiefs defense was far too aggressive. Where I made a point in a statement in our group chat that a lot of flags were being thrown that were 50-50 flags.
Yeah.
Here's the problem. Every fucking down they were holding. They got away with more than what they were called for.
Yep.
I chalked that up to karma, where the Chiefs last year should have been flagged for defensive holding because they led the league in it and I don't think, got a single call against San Francisco. So this was just long overdue.
Before you continue, my thing with that whole the flags being thrown, I agree. They definitely got away with a lot more than they did call for. Yeah. But my problem was mainly with the referees is they weren't calling it like that during the playoffs. They weren't calling it that time. And if there's any place that you're not going to call it that tight, is the Super Bowl. So, but to be fair to the refs as well, they stay consistent throughout the game.
They didn't give you an option.
Right. They stay consistent throughout the game. My only thing was you weren't doing that much during the playoffs. So, go ahead.
But yeah, if they're gonna make it that blatant, and they're every fucking play, somebody's being held or interfered with, or you name it, they're gonna. You don't leave them a choice. What do you expect?
Right, and you gotta adjust.
Right, and then by the way, I've been saying all year that the Chiefs' defense is average at best. Right, that was on full fucking display. 100%. Because bear in mind, when they played during the regular season, the Chiefs got out to a huge lead. They were scoring points. That forced Tampa to completely flip its game plan. This was a coaching clinic by Arians and his staff.
Yep.
And there was no travel. There was none of that shit. It's not like you had to fly to Seattle or across to the West Coast and have time zones and all that dumb shit you had to deal with.
Right.
You just got out-schemed by, frankly, Todd Bowles has always been a good defensive coordinator. Not a good head coach, but a good coordinator.
Yeah.
He deserves the bulk of the credit. Byron Leftwich called a good game, but I don't think he did anything exceptional.
Nothing special.
Not even close to the level of Todd Bowles.
No. Not at all.
And they were comfortable. You could tell. All they were sending was 4. And they just kept White or David rotating on Kelsey. They shut him down. I mean, masterclass in defensive scheming.
Oh, yeah. I'll start off with what you said. The Bucs defense. Phenomenal job. Fucking phenomenal. And I think the worst thing that could have happened to the Chiefs was that Week 12 ass whipping they gave the Bucs. That was the worst thing that could have happened to them because that set up for exactly what the Bucs wanted to do in this Super Bowl. And they did exactly that and shut them down. Had that ass whipping not have happened, who would have said that wouldn't have happened this game?
Right.
You know what I mean? So, great job by the Bucs defensive coordinators and defensive players for having a plan and sticking to it, not knowing going into it that it wasn't going to be an easy plan to execute.
Right.
You got Hill, Kelsey, Mahomes, and all these other guys. That's not a fucking easy job to get done, but they fucking shut it down. They shut it down. 9 points. Come on now. 9 points for the best offense that we've seen in a long time. Whew. That's something, man. That's something. So big shout out to those guys for that.
Yeah.
Now, this is where I had a huge fucking problem, and I was frustrated the whole fucking game.
Ooh, this segment sponsored by Jones & for Smoke.
By Jones & for Smoke. If I had it all lit up right, it rolled up right now, I would light that bitch, but I'm going to light it for after this. Let's start with the Chiefs' offense. Whew, and I remember we talked about this towards the end of the season, probably week 15, 16, 17.
Yeah.
I said, and Luke, you mentioned it as well, that my worries with the Chiefs was they always try to play, they rely on hero ball. They rely on the big plays. They rely on Mahomes to do Mahomes things to get them to wins. Yeah. And it's worked out for them majority of the season. But in this game, against a great defense, I think they're 6th overall. Hero ball is not going to win you the Super Bowl. And I think another thing was the worst thing that could have happened to them was last year's Super Bowl because they were in last year's playoffs. They saw what they were able to do last year and said, we are the Chiefs. We can do it again. We can come back from any deficit, and we got Mahomes back there, and he's going to be able to make any play. And like you said, he ran for almost 500 fucking yards. Some of them were totally unnecessary by him, though. That's what was very frustrating for me. But even then, he got out of some plays and almost made them work. I'll give him that. He almost made them fucking work. Tyreek Hill, I want him hit him in the fucking face mask. Kelsey dropped one. I mean, but like you said, that goes back to the offensive line. But the Andy Reid, Eric, the enemy, a horrible game plan on offense. Horrible. Absolutely fucking horrible. You knew the game plan for the Bucs would be to stop Hill and Kelsey, or to at least neutralize them as best as possible, and they fucking did that.
Yeah.
And you did not have a backup plan for what would happen if they did. You didn't get the running games. You barely ran the fucking ball. You didn't get Hardman involved. You didn't get Watkins involved. What kind of shit is that? Oh my God, you don't understand. Just being a football player, playing at least on a college level and understanding football.
Yep.
That was just mind-boggling to me that professionals at the highest level who've won Super Bowl couldn't fucking have a game plan to what would happen if they stop our weapons. You just said, you know what? We got these guys. There's no way they can stop us. We've been doing it for 3 years now. There's no way they could stop us. And they fucking did it. And you had no backup plan.
Can we also, real quick, San Francisco did a damn good job against them last year, too.
Absolutely.
The refs were the reason that the Chiefs won that fucking game last year.
They helped.
The refs played a bigger part in the Niners losing last year's Super Bowl than the Chiefs losing this year, and it's not even close for every reason you just said. Why would you even sign Le'Veon Bell if he's third on the depth chart? Because Le'Veon Bell, even if you're not going to line him up as a running back, he's arguably one of the few guys you can put in 5 wide and is actually a capable pass catcher.
Unbelievable. And I don't think he had one attempt at a pass.
No, Le'Veon Bell, to my knowledge, didn't even get a snap.
I think he got one snap. I'm pretty sure I've seen him one time out there, at least once.
Right.
But
headache. Yeah.
And then that just validates what for Eric the enemy. Now all these teams can say, well, see, this is why we didn't hire you. Yeah. This is why, because we saw that.
Yeah. Well,
this is going to give them the stamp that they don't deserve to say, but they're going to use it.
But you always run the risk when you have the number one offense for a sustained period of success. That's a game plan that is proven successful. So you're not going to deviate much away from it. Have you looked? Listeners of ours that listen to this episode, in the comments, whether it be Patreon or YouTube, put like a little emoji or something if you've ever played Madden, specifically this year's, and looked at the Chiefs playbook. It's like 3 formations. It's not that hard to game plan against. This is exactly what somebody like Bill Belichick, defensive mastermind, did against the Rams 11 personnel.
Yep.
They knew it was coming. Nobody, and when I say nobody, fucking nobody, knew what the fuck the 6-1 formation was until Belichick ran it out and started playing buzz and cover 1 against what he knew McVay was going to call. Why? Because McVay had proven he was a one-trick pony.
Yep.
And again, I am not saying that Todd Bowles is Bill Belichick in terms of defensive wizardry, but he's not, your common idiot. He knows what he's doing.
Definitely.
Right. This is like simple shit.
Yeah, it is.
And we should have seen this coming probably about week 13 when the Chiefs basically abandoned the running game.
Yeah. I mean, man, I don't get it. It's still has my mind fucked up to this day. It still has my mind fucked up.
But how much more of an example do you need when Tampa's lining up against you, and at least once per set of downs, they're running Rojo and Fournette down your throat for 7 to 12 yards per run?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And you have an equally capable stable of running backs that you just choose not to use. And even to the point, and again, Mahomes deserves credit for how he played, which is an odd statement in terms of he never stopped fighting.
Mm-hmm.
So he deserves credit for that. He can't control the plays that are coming into his helmet.
Mm-hmm.
But there are plays when we saw Edwards-Helaire or Damian Williams where, delayed release, shit where they would be out like your fifth read, check down, simple shit. I don't recall any of them getting a fucking throw. Maybe one at their feet to get out of a sack, but this is bad. And you could credit Tampa's D-line for just not even giving him time to get to the fourth, fifth read.
Right. But there were even, like you said, there were even times where he had the opportunity to look at his third, fourth, and fifth read, but he didn't. I watched Mahomes that game, and by far that was the worst game I've ever seen him play. Because not just because he wasn't able to make plays like he's normally able to do when he has to scramble and shit falls down, but I watched him focus in down the field when shit broke down, because that's what he's used to. He's used to, all right, shit's about this play, my first read's not going to work, I'm going to scramble out, and Tyreek is going to be open somehow, or Kelsey's going to be open somehow. Someone's going to be open.
Yeah.
But they weren't open. Yet he took a sack instead of giving it to Bell, who is also a receiver, and Minnie's eyes, and get what's given. Take what the defense gives you. How many times have we heard that growing up, Luke? Yeah. Take what the defense gives you, and you can clearly see that the Chiefs were not trying to do that, and the Bucs did a great job just holding it down. So.
But what we knew, like if we're going to get technical, like old Bleacher Creatures level technical, all they did was rush 4, maybe 5. And the blitzer was always Devin White because of the obvious speed he has over Levante David, who's a better cover backer anyway by comparison. Levante David, I think I said, is one of the most underrated, underappreciated linebackers in the NFL.
Yep.
He's as good in coverage as Kuechly and Bobby Wagner were and are, and never got to credit because those teams were playoff teams all the time.
Yep.
Tampa, until Brady got there, no one really gave a shit.
Exactly. No one looked their way.
They're right. The only guy that was Jameis brought negativity. Mike Evans was doing great always, but he was just kind of there. Like even during Hard Knocks, I don't recall ever seeing fucking Levante David's name ever get brought up. On defense, it was always Gerald McCoy.
Yep, very true. Very true. Very.
Yeah. And by the way, you know how you said it's annoying that Brady has his ring?
I know where you're going with this one.
How do you think I feel?
I was actually, one of my questions for you was, how does it feel that Antonio left your squad or got kicked out, whatever, however you want to call it, and got a ring somewhere else with Tom Brady?
Okay, as a Steeler fan, I'm less bothered that it was with Tampa than, let's say, Vegas. Because the Steelers and Raiders have an unspoken hatred for each other that goes back to the 70s. But if you're telling me would I rather AB or Bell get it, I personally would have said Le'Veon.
Yeah, right. Definitely. I could definitely see.
Le'Veon hasn't shown that he has become a borderline garbage human the way Antonio Brown has. But we didn't hear a fucking thing about him after he signed there.
Yeah.
We just didn't. I'm not saying maybe Brady got in his ear or Arians. I don't know. But, I mean, Arians made it very clear. It's like, you do one thing fucking stupid and you're gone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They weren't playing with that.
And then also, I do think that there's something to be said aside from bowls. But the way that, like, if you're someone like Antonio Brown, who, remember, for years flourished under Mike Tomlin, under his position coaches, Antonio Brown, I think, really just thrived in an environment where there was, I think, every assistant and coordinator is black.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Again, Bieniemy's black. He could have done well with the Chiefs, or there's other teams. It's not just one or two of them. But Tampa specifically, I think they probably hire more than any in terms of minority hires. They're taking the Rooney Rule and running with it.
Right, exactly.
Which we even said that with Cam Newton in the last year's offseason.
Mm-hmm.
Cam just strikes me as a guy where that would do well. Case in point, he played like shit this year.
Yep.
Yeah, there are guys. I mean, Byron Leftwich probably played against Antonio Brown.
Right, exactly.
Right, like there's mutual respect between players there, and he's an OC.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
Definitely a better situation for him where, outside of Pittsburgh, where, before everything got crazy and stuff like that. But the last thing I wanted to say about the Chiefs was on the defensive side, besides what you said, because everything you said about the holding and all that shit was right on. But this is my other thing when it comes to Brady in the Super Bowl. Not even just Brady. Or, let's stick with Brady. Just Brady in general in the playoffs. With the teams that have beaten Tom Brady, for the most part, I think almost all of them. I gotta go back to the Eagles one to remember exactly how that played out. But pressure was the number one thing. I didn't see any of that. Now, you said they were being aggressive, and they were being aggressive on the wrong side to the receivers instead of being up front and trying to pressure Tom Brady like the Bucs were pressuring Mahomes. That's how you beat Tom Brady. He can't fucking move left or right. He's going to step back 5 yards. He's going to look. He's going to get rid of the ball. That's it. Yep. You got to send more than that. If he gets the ball off and they make a play, so be it.
And let's also be real. There was no pressure. None. Marpet, Kappa, Jensen, they did their shit. You didn't think to cover Gronk?
Gronk had a field day, man.
Gronk went nuts. It's not like he went for 200 yards.
Right.
Gronk is just too slow for that now. But in the red zone, you don't think to cover Gronk that maybe a tight end – they ran a tight end screen to Cameron fucking Brate.
And they ran a tight end screen to fucking Gronk.
Oh, God forbid if O.J. Howard was in that game too.
Oh, man.
Right. We forgot he blew his ACL like week 1.
Yep.
But, yeah, like, Jesus Christ.
Oh, man. That was –
yeah. I'm so happy that the Chiefs validated everything I've said over the course of the year about their defense.
Yep.
The personnel is average at best, and Steve Spagnuolo is not an elite DC.
No.
Simply put.
So, Chiefs, offseason, get some fucking defense.
Yeah, stop drafting running backs and 4-string wide receivers.
What are you doing? What are you doing? If you want to get back to the Super Bowl, which is in SoFi Stadium next year, which I'm planning on going because I didn't go to Cali this year, but I'm going next year, and it's on our boy E's birthday next year. So I want to see the Chiefs there next year. I want to see you guys back there, but you're not going to get back there if you guys don't get no damn defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not. Because now you've been exposed on both sides. So now teams are really going to come after you guys next year. Huh.
Yeah.
It's going to be scary, so you guys need to get it together. But Other than that, the last thing that I want to say about the Super Bowl is obviously Tom Brady got number 7. Two things, two questions. Do you see, I'm putting it out here now. I'm going to put it out there now. Rematch next year.
No.
Chiefs, Bucks. I'm going rematch. This is too early to call. I'm not going to say, obviously, there's going to be some moves made and things like that where obviously my thoughts will be changed and shit like that. But right now, I'm going with the Bucks and the Chiefs to repeat. Not repeat, but to rematch next year. We haven't seen it in a while. Maybe we see it again this upcoming next season.
I mean, I could see the Chiefs back easily because they're young. Most of that team's under contract. Tampa just has too many free agents.
They do. They do have a lot of free agents.
That key, like Shaq Barrett is going to cost a lot of money.
They're definitely going to lose a few, but I also think they'll still be good enough to where a few guys are going to take cuts and things like that to give them a little extra money.
Yeah, I mean, the good news if you're Tampa is that division, at least, is under your control now. The Saints are done.
Saints gone.
Even with Breeze back, they're done. They got to figure that out. Realistically, the only team you're worried about is maybe a hot Seattle team if they figure out how to play defense, and the Packers.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, and Taylor Heineke, who – bravo for getting $8.5 million on that extension.
My boy Heineke getting paid. Get that money, boy. But other than that, that's pretty much it that we got to talk about the Super Bowl. Shout out to Tom Brady and the Bucks. Tom living his best life in Tampa, was drunk, and I've been to 2 Patriot parades with my boy Mikey. Shout out to Mikey in Boston. And I've never seen Tom Brady drunk in any of them. So this is the first time I actually got to see it, not in person, obviously, but to see it on TV. It was the only thing that brought me a smile. Like, okay, he's having fun.
Yeah,
he's enjoying this. And to even throw the fucking Lombardi was just like, oh shit. He took it there. He's like, I got enough of these. If we lose this one, it's okay. But now, Luke spoke about Johnson for smoke earlier. He got some Johnson for smoke that he's going to get off his chest today. And that is with the NFL Honors Rewards that happened the night before the Super Bowl. We're going to take you down them and really break it down. But let's start off with the MVP. Rodgers getting it. We all saw that. No problem with that. Congratulations.
Alex Smith getting comeback, I have no problem with.
Exactly.
There's 2 that jump out in my head. Justin Jefferson set a rookie record and lost for receiving yards and lost to a guy who only really played because Tyrod Taylor got stabbed in the lung by some idiot doctor.
Yep.
Like, I'm not trying to discredit Justin Herbert.
Yeah, he deserved to be in the conversation.
He won me money this year. I love Justin Herbert. However, you were not supposed to play until Tyrod Taylor got stabbed by a doctor.
Yep.
By default, that took 3 weeks off your schedule. And no offense, the Chargers didn't do a lot of winning.
Exactly. That's
not
a good
to say
point.
that the Vikings did either.
Right.
But the games that the Vikings were winning were the ones where Jefferson and Thielen were going off.
Yep. 100%.
Justin Jefferson is an elite wide receiver. Mm-hmm. He had a better year than the 4 people picked ahead of him.
Mm-hmm.
Even Lamb.
Yep.
And you completely discount that. Meanwhile, if Joe Burrow had a half-functioning O-line, Herbert wouldn't have won. Right,
exactly.
So that's the preliminary bullshit. Stop overvaluing quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you have to just look at wins and losses.
Seriously.
Congratulations, you knocked the Raiders out of the wild card. What do you fucking do? That's the only thing they accomplished this year.
Shout out to Jefferson. That's a impressive fucking record to break. Randy Moss, come on.
Right, and you're right. And it's not like you just beat some slapdick assholes fucking record. That's That's a Hall of Famer.
Yep.
Now the real problem. Yeah, here we go. There is no way in fucking hell that Aaron Donald had a better year than TJ Watt. I'm apologizing to nobody. And Jalen Ramsey, if you hear this, I will fight you. I'll take you physically. No. Fuck that. No shot in hell. I understand that Aaron Donald every snap gets a double or a triple team. Because we've known Aaron Donald is a fucking monster. That's a known fact in football. TJ Watt beat him in every category. Mm-hmm. And the Rams had a statistically better defense than Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't say, oh, but TJ fell off with Bud Dupree. No. TJ did exactly what the fuck he was consistent the whole year, just like Donald, but was more consistent.
Yep.
Because you don't think TJ Watt gets double covered?
Right, exactly. That's the point that I think people forget.
Just because he's a 3-4 outside linebacker doesn't mean anything. He's usually getting the right tackle and either a tight end to either chip or block down, or occasionally, if they're stupid enough, they'll try and take his knees out with the running back. Mm-hmm. Or a fullback, if those even are a thing anymore.
Absolutely.
TJ Watt is getting it, but he's getting it at usually more impact from faster players that can knock him off the line better than Donald, who has, aside from Myles Garrett, the quickest first step in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And you beat him in every fucking category. Aaron Donald, again, this is more symptomatic of his position, is not getting interceptions. He might get a pass deflection, maybe, just from getting his hand in the right spot. But on a worse statistical defense, to have, and let's face it, the NFC West and the AFC North are very competitive divisions. Even the Bengals this year showed in flashes they were good, or at least on the come up. I'm sorry, there's no reason Donald wins that award.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. This reminds me of I don't want to compare it to LeBron, because I think the opposite with LeBron. I think they get so bored with LeBron being so great that they don't give him the MVP.
Yeah.
But now they're looking at Aaron Donald and they're saying, okay, you're getting triple team, so you have to be the best.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Aaron Donald, like, your LeBron comparison is actually 100% valid here. Here's the problem. The NBA voters actually have the balls to go outside the lines.
Mm-hmm.
Because certain guys in some years just go off. They do. Mm-hmm. In the NFL, Donald had a very, very good year. It wasn't better than TJ's.
It just wasn't better.
It wasn't better than fucking TJ Watt's. I'm sorry. Right. And if you're saying, oh, well, he's beating the double, triple, no shit. He's an interior D lineman. He's getting doubled or at least trap blocked every play.
Yep.
Like, we get it. He's a man amongst children when he's on the field.
Absolutely.
But I would love to see, and I don't know the Rams' schedule for next year in terms of, like, who their opponents are.
Mm-hmm.
But I would love to see, like, this year's fully healthy Cleveland Browns offensive line, or the fully healthy Colts, like a top 5 unit, block against Donald at some point in the near future.
Yeah.
Or even the Cowboys if they were at full capacity.
Yep.
The Cowboys between Frederick Martin and Tyron Smith, that's his side of the ball.
Yeah, that's true. That would be something.
Right, but I would love to see if Donald leaves one of those games with 2 to 2.5 sacks, a pass deflection, and a forced fumble. Okay, now he's the MVP.
Mm-hmm.
One game against the right opponent, in my opinion, can sway that kind of voting.
Yeah. No question. My vote would have been T.J. Watt as well. He just had a
Now
better.
here's what the NFL has now done. Any human that is going against T.J. Watt next year, you fucked up because you never give a Watt a reason to work harder.
Mm-hmm.
You never give a Watt to work harder when it's his contract year.
Yep. He's gonna be.
You have now fucked the Steelers because we're gonna have to pay him like $20 million more because he's gonna have the best season of his career next year, barring injury. And I swear to God, if T.J. Watt gets hurt, I will cry.
Yeah.
Because he's too much fun to watch.
Absolutely. I had one more problem, and it wasn't a big problem, a small problem.
What do you got?
Coach of the year.
I had a feeling this was gonna be it.
And the only reason why I had a problem with it is because, one, yes, Kevin Stefanski did some things with the Browns. They made the playoffs, and, they looked good. Great. But to me, that team was already in that direction. You know what I mean? Like, they were headed in that direction based off of what we've seen previous years.
Yeah.
Who I would have gave it to was Ron Rivera.
Yeah, 100%.
Washington. Because not only did he bring a team that wasn't doing shit and wasn't expecting to win this division, obviously our division was trash, but still, to go through what he went through, chemo, COVID, the shit with his fucking quarterbacks trying to kill him basically, and have a great defense, which we know he's a defensive mind coach.
Yep.
I think I would have gave him the edge over Kevin Stefanski. I think Kevin Stefanski, I applaud you.
Yeah.
But I would have gave it to Ron Rivera because
there's really only 4 coaches that should have been in consideration. Stefanski was one of them because we saw what the Vikings offense turned into without him.
Right.
2 was Frank Reich with Indianapolis.
Yep, he was another one.
Was Sean McDermott.
Yep.
And 4 was Rivera.
Yeah, Sean McDermott for sure, definitely.
But here's the problem. Just like what McDermott and Stefanski, you had teams that were loaded with talent and trending in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
Washington was a complete crapshoot in terms of what we thought their record would be.
Right. We had them, I think, but everyone had them last in the division.
And then you throw in the cancer. Now, again, for people outside my circle, my mother is going through cancer treatment right now. She just had her last treatment today. That's huge. For the last 6 weeks, that woman has been on her ass, exhausted, and barely capable of eating an essential function.
Mm-hmm.
Ron Rivera, if we didn't catch wind of him being on chemo, you wouldn't even know.
Right.
He didn't miss a beat.
Yep.
And you want to speak to how good of a coach Ron Rivera is? They almost beat the Super Bowl champion with a third-string quarterback.
Yep. Yep.
And 2 weapons.
Yep.
A 5th-round running back and Terry McLaurin.
Yeah.
And Logan Thomas. He deserves it. But again, they're not running out all pros. The defense has them.
Yeah, right. The defense has them.
But, for fuck's
sake.
And then
you had a quarterback with one leg.
Right. Exactly. You had a guy who probably shouldn't have a leg playing quarterback for most of the season. You got rid of your problem. You fixed the culture of the most toxic team in the NFL.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. You add that onto it. Absolutely.
But that's also a knock against Stefanski. The Browns bullshit didn't go away.
Right.
We might if they trade away Beckham, which, God, they need to do that. But you still had turmoil every time when Baker Mayfield was going through his stretch where he was garbage at best. That took a while. It's not like that wasn't like a 1 week hiccup.
Right, exactly.
Like
Absolutely.
Phillip Rivers played more consistently over the year than Baker with less weapons.
Yep. Yep.
Just saying, Frank. That's my Frank Reich argument.
Yep.
But how do you fuck Ron Rivera out of this?
I don't know.
I get it. It's the Browns. But who was equally in turmoil along with it was the fucking Redskins. And I'm sorry if any native person listening, they're always going to be the Redskins to me. It's going to take me another 5 years to get out of my head.
Yeah, even
that team was in complete and utter tailspin, imminent death, dumpster fire for years.
Yep.
And again, that division is an imminent death, tail-spinning dumpster fire. But they at least proved that they have the best coach in the division. It's not close.
Not even close.
Judge is second, but he didn't there wasn't enough good coming there either.
Right.
But Rivera there's so much good there.
So much. So much.
Like, case in point, if the culture is that good, guys, a second-year wide receiver shouldn't be getting named captain. Now, again, Terry McLaurin from everything I've heard and seen, he's an upstanding human being. Like, he's the anti-Dwayne Haskins.
Right.
But that doesn't happen. And kudos to Rivera for realizing this is a guy who can lead my locker room. He's the best weapon I have, and that's how you're going to keep McLaurin in that uniform beyond the terms of his contract.
Absolutely.
And this is the kind of guy people want to play for Ron Rivera.
Exactly.
Like, disregard the defense. This is now like they just re-signed Heineke. Good for them. But they could have went out and gotten another couple backups for quarterback. Easily.
Yep. Easily. Very true.
Right. Now watch what happens. If they have any, I'm sure they have some cap space. Oh, that team's going to be a problem next year. I'm ready on it.
It sucks. It sucks. And I said it as soon as I fucking said it. I must have fucking jinxed it, or I'm just that smart and knew what was coming. But I said the moment that the Redskins got fucking Rivera that it was going to change. Things were going to change, and that Washington was going to be. We saw in
Carolina. Guys like Luke Kuechly built Hall of Fame careers under this. There's a reason Ron Rivera is never a one-and-done coach.
We forgot to mention, Ron Rivera also, he has the the comeback player of the year and the defensive rookie of the year on his team. Come on.
Yeah.
The awards in the house.
Yeah, but okay, hold on real quick. Since we're on the awards topic, technically, Chase Young deserved Defensive Rookie of the Year. They got that one right.
No question.
But can we also give credit to what is the best defensive front four in the league?
Of course.
Christ, he was the whipped cream on top of the ice cream sundae. That was already that defensive line.
Right. Absolutely.
Jesus Christ. That team is loaded for years. So God help you if Frederick and Martin and all them and Tyron Smith retire, because you're fucked twice a year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get into my fucking horrible ass Cowboys in the offseason. I don't even want to get into them because they pissed me off already. Yeah. This morning I heard some rumblings about them. But, yeah. So, congratulations to all the winners. Congratulations to the Tampa Bay Bucks as being the champs. And we'll see what happens next year. But most importantly, because this is what another thing I got to say to all you football fans that watch football and love football like we love football. Yes, the Super Bowl happened Sunday and the season is over. But football is year-round, motherfucker. It is year-round. So if it's year-round, that means you're going to see us year-round. Yeah. So
by the way, speaking of year-round, as you mentioned earlier, now you have the off-season ahead of you, which for you is more of a problem than, let's say, me, because my Christmas is about 2 weeks away. But for those of you, our loyal Patreon people, you get first crack at this always because that's our arrangement.
Ooh,
If you think you know football, and you think you know specifically the team you root for, inside, outside, backwards, the way me, Sean, and E know our respective teams, we have offered and are going to offer, again, the opportunity for you to come on the show during the offseason, and we're going to talk about your team.
Yep.
Featuring you, the diehard. That is the core model of Jones and for Sports in all shows.
Yep. Absolutely.
We make sports better because we are diehard fans who talk about this shit.
Exactly.
So in order to fully carry out our mission beyond what we already do, all you got to do is DM me or Sean. We're both in the Patreon chat on Instagram.
Yep.
Tell us your team name and when you're free.
Yep.
We'll fit you in. We got at least, 10 to 12 weeks before the draft?
Yep.
Right.
We got time.
Right. And I know we have Cowboy fans in the ranks. Paulie looking right at you.
Yep.
A shitload of Eagle fans, because of course we do. They're like herpes. I'm the only Steeler fan, which is great. We talk enough about the Steelers just based on my airtime. We have a Giant fan. He's already in. We have our loyal Dolphin fan.
Yep.
We know is coming on too. Freddie, you just tell us when.
Yep.
And then not only that, but as the locker room Sundays, I'm not going to say become potentially more infrequent until the draft. I am thrilled to announce that the man, the myth, the legend that is Sean Jones is going to be coming on to the Take It Deep podcast, which will be relaunching in at most the next week to 2 weeks.
Yep.
Because what we figured, we know we need a host. Sean has told me dozens and dozens of times he wants to learn more about baseball. No better way than by basically throwing him into the fire with me and E.
It's going to be rough.
Is it, though?
It'll be rough if my Mets don't turn out to be what I'm thinking they're going to turn out to be this year. That's part of it.
You'll get a wild card.
I think we'll be fine, though, but we'll see.
But yeah, either way. So if for those of you who are the Take It Deep listeners, I know there's not a lot of you, but for those of y'all that are there who maybe want to revisit your viewership of that show, Sean will at least bring some energy, some Mets knowledge, which again, we always have fucking Met fans, Mikey, Paulie, y'all specifically. We're getting some Mets representation. And if locker room becomes maybe a smidge more infrequent, fill the void with Take It Deep or Full Court Shot.
Yep, exactly. There'll be a lot more shows for you to watch, so stay in tune. And like I said, you can follow us on all of the social media platforms. Even Luke has talked about making the Take It Deep Twitter account. So, and you guys already know I'm on Twitter. I'm all over it. If you guys don't follow me on Twitter, please go, because I'm on there every day. And I'm talking to people all the time, and we're getting engaged and stuff like that. So find us on all of the social media. Find my LinkedIn. I just posted it on the Instagram, Twitter, and I got to get it on Facebook next. But my LinkedIn, it has all of the Jones for Sports stuff. And once Take It Deep comes out, that will be added as well. So stay tuned. And that's it. It's your boy Jones, Luke, Locker Room Sunday, Jones for Sports. We make sports better. Peace.
Jones for Sports. We make sports better.